Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the Haggadah, the introduction to the Sefer CHOFETZ CHAIM, as he's explaining to us the long, arduous gullus, the exile that we find ourselves in, and how we are going to rescue ourselves and bring salvation to Klal Yisrael. When we begin to search and examine our ways, what are the sins, the main sins, that have caused the long gullus exile that we find ourselves in? We find many different sins that the Jewish people have been engaged in over the years that continue to extend our gullus beyond what we ever imagined. However, the sin of Lashon HaRa, gossip and evil speech, it trumps them all. For many reasons. First of all, since that speaking Lashon HaRa was the main cause of the original exile from the Second Temple 2,000 years ago. Like I mentioned above, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM. If that's the case, that Lashon HaRa is what caused the Beis HaMikdash to be destroyed and Klal Yisrael to be sent out into the gullus, into the exile, as long as we don't do what we need to fix up this terrible sin, how could there be a redemption? This sin was so destructive. Through Lashon HaRa that we spoke at the time of the Second Temple, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He banished us from Eretz Yisrael. Alachas kama v'kama. How all the more so, she'enu manichenu lovav l'aratzenu. If Hashem sent us out of Eretz Yisrael for Lashon HaRa, how much more so will He not bring us into Eretz Yisrael because we continue to speak Lashon HaRa? So if we hold on to the sins of our forefathers, and they were immersed in the sin of Lashon HaRa, and we have not yet corrected it because it doesn't mean that much to us, or we never learned the halachas, the laws properly, so then how could we expect that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring us back into the Eretz Yisrael if we're still holding by the same reason and sin that cast us out of there to begin with? Va'oid, furthermore, halo yaduahu, it's known, shenigzar aleinu galus mikvar meis maisa meraglim. This is something that was decreed upon us already from the times of the meraglim, of the spies. This week's parsha, not a coincidence, everything is ba'ashkacha. Kama shekasa b'tehillim, like King David says in Tehillim, the following two psukim. This is in Tehillim Kuf Vav 106, verses 26 and 27. And it says like this, Vayisa yada lehem, Hashem raised His hand in an oath against them. Lahapil oisam b'midbar, He was going to cast them down in the midbar, in the wilderness. Ulahapil zaram b'goyim, and He would end up casting down their offspring amongst the nations. Ulazaroisam ba'aratzais, and scatter them amongst the lands. What does that mean? That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decreed that not only will the Jewish people wander 40 years in the wilderness as a result of these spies and the Lashon HaRa that was told, it's going to end up carrying itself out amongst the descendants as well, and will be scattered amongst the Goyim, the nations, in Golis. Says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, Ukimoshe Perish Rashi Sham, Ramban Bechumish, Parsha Shlach. Look inside Rashi, look inside the Ramban in the Parsha this week, and you will see that this is what it says. V'cheit ha-meraglim, halahaya ovan Lashon HaRa. What was the terrible sin of the meraglim, of the spies, that caused them to have to go into exile and wander in the wilderness 40 years, and it would eventually play itself out for all future generations? Lashon HaRa, evil speech. They came and they spoke Lashon HaRa about Eretz Yisrael. So could you imagine if you speak Lashon HaRa about a land, an inanimate object like the land of Israel? For that we could get punished. Alachas kama v'kama, how much more so we're going to get punished for speaking Lashon HaRa about fellow Jews who are Tselem Elokim, the image of God. Kamodisa be'erechin imkein, anu muchrachin l'sakein zarachei, we are obligated, We must fix up this sin koydem ha'geula, before the geula, the redemption, is going to come. If we don't unload our nation of the terrible sin of Lashon HaRa, then the geula, Rachmana litzlan, is not going to be able to come. But that which is going to bring the ultimate geula, the redemption, is when Klal Yisrael becomes expert in the sensitivities of the laws of Lashon HaRa, to make sure that the words of gossip and evil speech and the like do not come out of our mouths. Only rather good words and good things and good tidings and thoughts for all of Klal Yisrael. Have a wonderful day.